Welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Itai, and we're excited to have you here today. And today is another day. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be here with you on the Good Morning Education Show. And of course, please do let us know if you're connecting with us. Say hello, say good morning. Let us know where you're connecting from. Tell us your location. And also, please do share with us as we have the conversation for today. Do not hesitate to ask your questions. If you must ask questions, please do not hesitate to ask a question. And also, please ensure that beyond asking questions, you make contributions. We plan to, contribute and learn together on the show. We're streaming um, from Nigeria. Precisely, I'm in Ogun State at the moment, and so we are streaming from Ogun State to Nigeria to West Africa to Africa and to the entire part of the world. And of course, we always have fantastic and exciting views from our experts and analysts that share their views on the conversations around the show. Please do stay tuned and, of course, connect with us as we go on the conversation for the day. Today, we will be, sharing something important and probably also making a little bit more practical as it relates to the question that says, what's your network? What's your network? So what we're going to be doing is during the conversation of the day, we will find out what it means to have a network, what we mean by network, and how that can actually affect your profession, your progression, and your pursuits as well. And I'm very sure that our analysts would would um, would be willing and eager to also share from their experience on this important subject matter. We're going to see a lot, we're going to share a lot, we're going to experience a lot on this conversation today. And it's always a great time to use the opportunity to reflect and also get to know what people think, what people know, and what people also have as their own challenges as well. Your journey is not complete without the story in it. And sometimes we just focus on the end and we disguise ourselves, not realizing that in between there are values and there are concepts that we must never ignore. And I believe that before we end the show today, no matter how short the show might be, we will be able to take time out to deal with this kind of issues concisely. We deal with them and we're able to get the best out of them as well in the shortest possible time. Yeah, so we're talking today about what's your network? What's your network? What's your network? And I'm sure a lot of people um, out there will be wondering, why did we pick this kind of topic? Why did we decide to pick this kind of topic? If you notice, you will realize that some of the conversations we've been having on the show actually has been a bit deliberate to get us to that point where we begin to have intentional results, we begin to have active results, we begin to have great results, we begin to have better results as individuals, as experts, as a sector. And there are many things that could lead to that, but we will do that on the go, right? And so when you talk about network, by definition, your network is considered as your sphere of influence. Your network is also considered as your sphere of access. Your network is also considered as your sphere of impact. And also, most of the time, people look at it as also your reach of friendship. So when you look at it from those angles, like I just said, your sphere of impact, your sphere of influence, your sphere of access, your sphere of friendship, then it begins to broaden your mind that it truly is very important for us to be aware of the network we have I remember many years ago in Nigeria where we began to have the penetration of the GSM as the telecoms company now began to grow. But we realized that there are certain areas that had network challenges. And so sometimes you have a scenario where people have good network. You have sometimes a scenario where people have low network. Sometimes you have a situation where people have no network. Now, what does that simply mean? No network, no coverage area. When you hear someone having no network, it simply says there's no coverage area, or better still, there is a signal. When you have a low signal, it means you are not able to gain access, you're not able to gain strength, you're not able to gain the best of penetration because of the capacity or the quality of network. And rightfully, like Innocent Ohiri is saying, yes, your network determines your net worth, which is true. Your network determines your network. So let me bring on Titi to the show. Titi, good morning.
Good morning.
Fantastic, fantastic. I can't shout like you. I'm still recovering, so I am taking my
Oh,
words easily. So
well, it's a good morning on the Good Morning Education Show. Good morning,
yes,
everyone. Welcome, everyone that's joining us. Hello, all the way from where I am. Hello to all people that have joined. Gideon, Innocent. These guys are just faithful tribes people. Thank you for joining us this morning.
yes.
Thank you, Gideon. Good morning. Yes, Rotimi. Sorry that you cannot open your mouth wide and laugh a lot. I'll try not to make you laugh too much this morning.
It is well. So we're talking about network, right? And the question is, what's your network? You know, and there are two perspectives with which we'll be taking that topic and conversation. And the idea is to help people identify what their network is or what their network um, frame is, but then at the same time to identify what's the work for them to get to grow their network. And so I started by defining what I consider network to be. The network in itself is almost like a reality of your sphere of influence, your sphere of access, your sphere of impact, your sphere of friendship. It's almost like a coverage of relationship, the link or the scope of your relationships. So, and of course, when we look at that, it simply puts us to realize why people normally say your net worth is your network, or your network is your net worth. So, Titi, what do you have to say about network?
I think Innocent has just, helped make it plain. That's what I would say. Saying that your network is your net worth. Honestly, some people are just rich in friends. And when you are rich in friends and have the right friends, you are automatically, seriously, ridiculously rich. That's all I can say. And I can give so many examples. Um, like recently, when I think of the Google partnership that Niger Kids has, it was through someone in my network. That's what it was. It was through someone in my network. When I think of the fact that I'm a columnist in Business Day, it was the opportunity came through someone in my network. This Good Morning Education Show came through my network. You know, so when I think of people, if I want to sell something, the first thing I would do is just make a list of people in my network and then start making calls. Something will just happen by the end of the day, you know. So your network is really, really so important. It's really your what I would say your door to all your opportunities and your door to your wealth. So truly, truly, I say with Innocent, your network will determine your net worth.
All right. What you said is very true, and it's just almost like showing a practical side of it. And I like people to also realize that sometimes we need to pay attention to something. A lot of people disregard, is it just that simple? Your network's your friends. Your network is sometimes, we look at people we have access to, or we look at friends and we don't see them beyond probably some little leverage. Some people don't harness the friendship that they have, and so they can't really see the beauty of what you're saying when you talk about leverage and you talk about it's almost like friends are not for business. That kind of perception of friends are just there. And why that's why a lot of times it seems that people don't deliberately try to nurture friendships, at least for continuity and longevity. That short fuse is there when it comes to the management of friendship. And it's really bad. It's really bad because when we say your network is your sphere of influence, when we say it's your sphere of access, when we say it's your sphere of friendship, then I think people need to understand what we mean by a sphere. Titi, can you help us, just educate us on when we say something is a sphere, what does it really mean?
A sphere is a 3D shape.
Wait, wait,
Oh my goodness. But is that not what it is? The sphere is a 3D shape. I think your spell influence is people that are connected to you and people that are connected through those who are connected to you. So it just shows the endless possibilities. That's the way I would look at it. So let's say, for instance, I'm connected to Safety Chick, but Safety Chick is connected to so many other people. So what that means is that my sphere of influence is beyond my own initial connection, is also the people that are connected to me. And that's really the basis on which LinkedIn works on. So that's when you look at LinkedIn, you see your first connections, your second connection, your third connection. It's just showing you the possibilities just through one person. So Rotimi has 500 connections. I have 500 connections. But the moment I'm connected to Rotimi, I automatically have doubled my connections because I have my 500 and automatically I have access to Rotimi's 500. So, your sphere of influence looks small, but it's actually endless. So imagine if it just means that if I advertise something on my network, I can automatically leverage on Rotimi and say, oh, Rotimi, can you please send this to those in your network? So automatically, instead of my 500, I automatically have 1,000. And imagine I then reach out to so many other people. So it just shows that my sphere of influence becomes endless. But I think, one should, when we talk about network, we should, start with how do you build network? uh, how do you give value to your network before you think of taking value? And that's really, I think that's really the place at which people meet it. Immediately people think of their network, is how to just take value. That's why some people, they won't call you for forever, and then they need something and they call you, and they start wondering why that my friend is doing guy, because he has now arrived in that position. But that person already knows that you've not been given value. You suddenly just feel that you're entitled now to taking value. So that's really the issue. So the thing about network is that you need to build it, you need to give value before you plan on taking value.
Absolutely. And this is what it means to work your network, because it's not just, oh, your network and then, oh, I have plenty of friends and then boom, there's value. You need to know that there is work. We must learn to work our network. And before we talk about working your network, just coming back to the word sphere, you said it's a 3D shape, which is true as a shape, but then it's a loop of possibilities, right? And that's where I want us to really identify that in your network being a sphere, a sphere has so many things like sub layers into it, just like you use the concept of having a friend that has friends, and there's a link that you and those friends have a common connect. And so you must understand that it's a reach to you, but you also must try as much as possible to get into that reach. It will require connections. And when I say connections, I'm not saying connections means contact. I mean, really getting to learn how to make those connections. There must be connections. Once you have those connections, then you can now move over to now saying that you want to maybe work those networks, just like you said, have the connections and then deliver value on those connections. And that's very important, you know. So how can we say maybe there's a step-by-step procedure to working our network? What would those things be, you know, step-by-step procedures to working our network?
I think the first thing I would say is that you have to start with yourself. What what do you want to give? You know, that's really, who are you? What do you have to give? Because remember what I said about your network, you're going to be giving value. So you need to say to yourself, what do you want to give? It could be your skill, it could be your time. You know, so you then start and say, oh, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I have to offer, right? That for me, I feel is the first step. The second step is then to say intentionally, who do I want to be in my network? Okay. So let's say, for instance, one day um, I want school owners to be in my network. So the first thing I've said is that, who am I? What do I have to give? I can have my time. I can be good in writing articles. I can be good in, you just list and say what are the things that you have to give. And then when I say, who do I want to be in my network? So it's now to determine who do you want to be in your network. Now, when you determine that, you have to first of all start with the low hanging fruit. Who do I currently have? Let me even start with, because remember that with network and with relationship, it takes time. So don't despise the ones that you already have. So I would first of all, advise people start with one, your immediate family. So there's some people that even their family group on WhatsApp, they're not on it. I feel that's a big mistake, because that's your first, that's the first people around you, and those are the first people you have opportunity to like their jokes, like what they send on WhatsApp. Do you understand? They say amen to their prayers. Those things that don't really take so much. So that's why I say, when you want to start with your network, don't go far first. Start with one immediate family. Start with extended family. So, like, how some of us are in our immediate family, then we are married into another family, so we are also in that family group. So those are your immediate. Other people that you're immediate, your old boys of your secondary school. Those are group of people that you remember, you grew up with them. They know you. Do you understand? They know the old you. Hopefully, the new you is better than the old you that they knew. But you know how it is. The people. When I think of my immediate secondary school group, and then our own school, like where there were 20 people in the class. We, in my class throughout my secondary school, we were at least 50. At least 50. And we had at least 4 to 5 arms. So that means I have access to
Wow.
200. Yes, I went to a federal government girls college school.
I think that was, I think that was why a lot of people used to scuttle to get into the federal government college, because there were a lot of people coming from different locations, and that
Yeah. So in my secondary school group, there are at least, I have access to over 250 people. And these 250 people, remember that they're in different places, they're in different continents, doing different things. Do you understand? In different positions, at different stages in their life. So I have that 250. That's just my secondary school group. I've not been able to join my primary school because I can't even remember how. Then I have my university. And this my secondary school group. That's just my set. There's still the larger old overall body. And they have Lagos chapter. Nigerian chapter, UK chapter, endless possibilities. I'm just like trying to open people's eyes to your network. Then I have my university people. So I have the overall and I have the people in my set. So in my set of university, when I combine all of us in the various arms of engineering, we must at least be, if I'm modest, maybe 150. I'm sure there are more than that, but let me just even say 150. So those people are there. So imagine, people are in different stages of their lives now, 20 years down the line. Some people have grown in their offices. So imagine where they are. So those are your immediate network. All these are people that know you. You don't have to go, trying to, they know you. It's just a thing of recultivating the friendship, being in the WhatsApp group, people's birthdays. We're not even talking about going out. So that's why I say you have to first of all find out who are those in your immediate network. Start to cultivate them. Start to say, what are you going to you give? You need to realize that it's a give and take relationship, but it starts with giving. That's why you find out that when you have if you're active in your old boys, when you're doing something, your father's burial, your mother's burial, a birthday party, you can be assured of 20-30 people that would come to support you. If I put something on my group, I'll be sure. If I say I'm doing if I'm doing a webinar, if I'm doing a webinar, do you know I will have at least 20 people on that webinar? And those 20 people are just my immediate family and my old boys and girls. People that will say, you know what, Tita, I'm just going to be there to support you. Why would they support me? Because in their own time, they are doing something, I'll be there to support them. So it's the same thing. If Rotimi is doing a webinar and he immediately sends out to me and I'm available, I'll be there to support him. So that's the, for me, those are the first 3 steps. One is that, who are you and what value are you ready to give? 2, your immediate network, cultivate it. And then 3, who are the additional networks that you then want? Go identify them and then start them. If I want to befriend somebody, you know what? I go and look for the person and say, does the person have a social media handle? I start to follow the person. I like the person's post. I comment on the person's post. After the person, we become friends, virtual friends. If the person then says they're having an event or whatever, I can then say, okay, so this is my opportunity to take this network to the next level. I go for the event, go and introduce myself. The person remembers, say, oh, I follow you on Instagram. We have a basis for discussing, and then it goes on like that. And then that's how we go. I go for, when you go for all these programs, you then say, who are the 2-3 people that I meet? You collect their numbers, start to build relationship, but start from the position of giving. Start to build your network. And your network, you give. So let me step back to this, this example of this Google that, I want to give. How did I meet this person? I was at Tose. I went to Tose, and this is how I then came up and met Success Tab, Koyejo. And then from Success Tab, we now said we then started talking. And then when we then go for 1 or 2 events, I now see him. Sometimes we share exhibition booths. Say, this exhibition booth, how much is that? I say, no, you know what? Oh, are you going to be there? I'm going to be there. Okay, sure, I can come and take a bit of space. I'm like, why not? Come and take a bit of space. And that's how we started building our friendship. We chat on WhatsApp. We send each other things that are relevant. So if I see something that is relevant to his business, I send to him. If he sees something that is relevant to my business, he sends to me. We start to build a relationship. He does an event. He invites me if I can go. Do you understand? I go for the event. And then what happens? So that's how we started building. He got married, invited me. I went. Do you understand? We exchanged and we learned about each other's business. So it was easy when someone approached him at an exhibition. I was not there. And I approached him and said, oh, you know what? I'm looking for this kind of thing. He says, you know what? I know the person for that job. And the rest, they say, is history. All this got from my network. See how I met. I even still remember how I met Rotimi. But see, I met Rotimi. From Rotimi's, I follow Safety Chick on on Instagram, but we had never really met. Our relationship had not yet transcended to, you know, being a bit more close. But you know what? Through Rotimi's network to Safety Chick and I are now friends, and we've gone on to do something together. I didn't know KK. Do you understand? I knew Eben from afar, but I even knew him more through you. I didn't know. I met you at one or two events, but now, so to speak, our relationship has gone further all through this Good Morning Education show. So I think, you know, it's just a testament. Even this Good Morning Education show is a testament to the power of networking. Still now, I know Gideon. So if I go somewhere and meet Gideon,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, this is Gideon that follows us on the join us on Good Morning. It's the same thing with Innocent. It's the same thing with Fancy Teacher, Excellent Teacher, Ifyok, you know, Nana. You know, people that we've connected all through a network. And that's why it's important to join, you know, sometimes join these groups, join even some things that are paid membership, join them. They just keep expanding. They're the fastest way to expand your network.
And you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rotimi. I think I need
Yeah,
to
so
pause.
because really you just kind of opened something that, yes, sometimes we know some things, but it doesn't really resonate with us that, oh, that's true, that kind of feeling. Because sometimes we look at the immediate benefit, and if it's not coming in that vibe, so like you said something about joining groups as well. Some people just think about it that they look at the group and they just feel, I'm not feeling this group, or I'm not feeling the vibe. They don't realize that a membership itself has its value, and it also has its timing.
Yeah.
So it's not just conversations, it's not just points that they are making, but sometimes just that association itself it's a value on its own. And you said something, and I wrote that I wrote those things. That two things caught my attention when you were speaking. Is that you said people should try as much as possible that when they are trying to build or grow or work their network, they must learn that you must support each other. And I really want you to talk more on that. And also, you said that talking about, for example, success tab like Koye, you said, after a while, and I think this is not just what happens naturally when people network. I think it's peculiar to people who have the understanding of their personality. So you see, you said something about you learn about each other's business, which means you might be at a place or you might be in a position to refer someone or to make a comment about someone's business in your network. And you will be able to say it that would even be convincing enough. Why? Because you've learned about that person's business or about that person. And I think sometimes we just leave networking to acquiring contacts instead of turning the contacts into relationships.
Yeah.
I want you to really dwell on that, because a lot of people need to realize that what you said is quite profound. How many people take time to even say, what does this person do? Let me go further than having the contact to be able to speak on this person's behalf if they need to arise.
Honestly, that's one of the easiest way, best way to really. You have to know what people in your contact do and go out of your way to patronize them. So let me give you an example. There are two shops in where I live, two supermarkets where I live that I patronize. But you know what? There's one that I've now built a relationship with the person. So when it comes to going to buy things, I always first of all go to the one that I have a relationship, because I'm like, she's my friend now. I'm supporting her business. And because I'm an entrepreneur, I go out of my way to, when it comes to buying things, I have to first of all use those in my network. So if someone comes and tell me, oh, they need someone to facilitate, I will think of you. I will think of KK, because those are people in my network. So it's always important. That's why now I go out of my way to always ask, so what do you do? Do you understand? Because if you sell books, it means that the next time I want to get books, I'll first of all come to you and ask you, oh, do you have these books? Do you understand? Before I go somewhere else. Because that way, it means that I'm transcending beyond, thinking of how to take from you. I'm starting by how to give. So it's always important to say, people in our network, what do we do? What do you do? And that's why whenever I join networks and I find that they've not done that, I'm always advocating to say, let's each person reintroduce themselves and tell us what do you do? You just understand, what's your
Absolutely.
business? And some people are always shy. I'm like, no, go ahead, and you never know. You never know. And we then make that conscious effort. You see, that's what all this big boys club is all about. That's what it is. Big boys club is all about that. When I want to do something, by the code of our big boys club, we start with each other. Someone told a story of this day. I think it was this day. I don't know if you've seen the story, and how this day was really doing badly. I think it was this day. One of the newspapers was really doing badly. It was a downtime for them, and then the people in their big boys club said, "You know what? This is how I'm going to help you. Everybody that is in our club, for 1 year, we commit to doing advert in your newspaper. Every advert our businesses are we do in your newspaper." So in this his big call, he had the likes of Dangote, he had bank MDs and all that. And that's how they drew their friend out of the situation that he was in. That's what being a member of your bad tennis club, all those things, is that when I need to do something, I start with you. And then people will be saying, oh, they're always giving each other. That's the virtue of the network, that I can't go and start from outside. I start with my network. And so it's important we join the right network. It's important that we also are making a conscious effort to find out what people that are connected to us, what they do, so that when we also see opportunity. So now, if someone comes and tells me something about, oh, they want to do some safety conference, blah, blah, I'll immediately think of Safety Chick. If someone tells me they want to do something about school leadership, I'll think of KK. If someone tells me they want to do something about technology, anything art related, if someone says, oh, they're doing their school, I'm like, oh, you know what? I know someone that does very school wall decorations and painting. I'm thinking of Eben.
Yeah.
So it then just means that it's important that, and we look out for opportunities. If I see opportunities now, things that are relevant to you, I will send it to you by WhatsApp. It takes nothing, because when I see something in one group that is relevant to another group, I then send it. So people begin to see me as valuable. They begin to see me as a valuable member. They begin to, see me as, because they say, oh, whenever there are opportunities, she shares. Whenever that, so I'm seeing something about this grant, I'm going to share it in the various business groups that I'm in, because I know those people are there looking for grants. So that is, you must ask yourself, I'm in this network, who are my network? What do they do? Not what do they do in terms that when I want to give, because it's the same way. Sometimes the opportunities are not in their hands, but when they see it, and I'll use this opportunity to talk about what happened this year. I like to share personal stories, because I feel that I'm talking from a place of personal experience. This year, one of the things that ensured that we had a major survival during this COVID period, where as we were getting the alert, was this network. So how people are always inviting you for events. Sometimes you just want to sit at home. So I went for this program, and in the program, I then was talking with someone, and then she now says, oh, she's she works in the CSR department of a bank. And then we started talking. Then I now shared some of the CSR things that we do, and then I asked questions. And then I'm like, oh, we have this activity book that I think will be good, and that's how the discussion started. So she associated me with doing things with kids. That's how she associated me. And when I see anything valuable that I feel that, oh, it's related to CSR, I will send to her by WhatsApp. So I saw this thing, I think this is a good idea. So I was kind of in her mind. Then COVID happened. And when they now decided that, what, they want to give back, and they want to give back across all the segments, including children, who do you think she was the first person she thought of?
That's you.
It was me. Because one, she knew she knows what I do, and I've kept in touch. So when it came to who does this, and that's how all of us are, who is in your network. And when we say who is in your network, you need to know what do they do. What do they do? One of them.
I like the way you said it. We have to learn how to be valuable. And when we're talking about valuable, sometimes there are very, very profound secrets hidden in plain sight. Valuable means being able to give value, because you have two words in valuable: value and able. Able to give value, able to attract value, able to also receive value. And a lot of times we don't spend time to create those entry where even if someone wants to give you something, it has to be a conduit where you could get that thing. Even when someone wants to get something from you, you must also create a conduit for it. And it's very important that people realize. Titi has mentioned so many things. In case you're joining us, this is the Good Morning Education Show, and we're speaking about what's your network. And we've defined it, we've described it, we're giving dimensions to how people could do that. And one major thing we must learn to do is, like Titi says, there's an immediate network. Sometimes we always look forward to something and then we just ignore what's available. Your immediate network can actually be that springboard to the projected relationships you're trying to get. So do something with that immediate network, and it can be your family. It can, and really, we need to really talk about that. Sometimes when it comes to family, I think we all have this a subtle notion where um, you don't really want to be that exposed. You don't want them to know everything. You don't want them to know what you're doing, what you're into, the kind of things. Because by the time they know, you feel there's nothing, especially because people are not just living their truth. They are not telling the truth as it is. So it's even difficult for people to be beneficiaries of access to families. You understand? I remember that I used to have this belief and perception that I don't want anybody to help me, so that they will not say, I was part of people that made road to me. There's some things you smack yourself when you discover that what even brought about this kind of perception. And I listened to a message one day, and that message, the preacher was saying, he said that God has given us all things, right? And yeah, logically, he has given us all things. But if God gave you, let's say God has given me Titi, and Titi is in a position to help me. Titi is in my network. It's part of what God has given me, right?
Yes.
So why would I say, for example, I have parents and maybe they have their businesses or they have something going for them, and there's opportunity to be involved in it or to be a beneficiary of it. And I say, no, that's my parents' stuff. I want my own stuff. So I don't want any, it says that's not being wise. And that thing was just like a scale fell off my eyes.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's foolish pride, I want to be a self-made man. What does that mean? Everybody was made.
He said there's a reason why we don't have 7 billion planet Earth. There's one Earth, and there are people in it. So there's a reason why we are made for relationship and interaction, right? So no one should ever think that. In fact, it shouldn't be your plan. Yes, you must be independent. You must work hard. You must be hardworking and not just you want to get from people. No, but at the same time, you need people. Another time I heard that your association completes your blessing, more or less. Your blessing is complete in association. And that thing I really things like that, short words that hold so powerful secrets, and it's true. It's the kind of association you have that completes the blessing that you have. So a lot of people are incomplete with their giftings, their talents, their businesses. Why? Because some things are yet to complete that. and we must take that step towards getting it done. As we move into the new year, I really would want you to. So, and there's no shame in it. You mentioned some things that you got to me to go through me and all that. Some people might not be able to say that. If you remember last year, Titi, I got some trainings through you. Remember?
Yeah.
Even though I was sick that time, I traveled how many thousand of miles during that period. I got some trainings through you. I've gotten access through Titi as well. My first, is that my first? Yes, my first international online webinar was through Titi. That's when I had that session with your sister. I remember.
Yeah. So
and
the opportunities are endless.
yeah,
I
yes,
have 2 webinars this weekend. I think one tomorrow and one on Saturday. And all these things are just through my networks. So one of them is even through my family network, whereby my cousins, so my cousin's husband said, he's received you. He was wondering what do I do? And I told him, he said, his old boys are doing something. He didn't know that. It is. We can be meeting at family parties and know where I'm there. All we are talking is there and all that. Just, am I serious? He says, you know what? I should send him my profile. Send him my profile. Let him. The next thing I'm at. I'm part of this. Their old boys. Their old boys program that they're having over the weekend. Same thing. Someone through my church. Do you understand? We had been, junior church teachers together for a while. Then I said, you know what? They're talking about something because they all know what I do. That's the thing. They all know what I do because every opportunity that I have to give of who I am, I always grab it with both hands. So whenever they're doing something in church, and I'll be like, you know what? Okay, Niger kids can come and we can, do this. So they know what I do. They know what I do. So it's so important that you always are cultivating your network, looking for opportunities to give. Sometimes it's just in attending things. When you attend the event, so we're going to visit someone. This person lost his dad. We're all going to visit. Who can come? I might not always be able to go, but anytime they come, that is near my vicinity, I would then make out time. So the networks are so important. A lot of opportunities we get will come from your network. Sometimes just calling people in your network to say, "Oh, this is what I'm telling you." If you go today, yes, so Alaba is in my network.
I did that. I made sure you saw that.
Oh my goodness! You know what's so interesting? Alaba works with my sister, and that. Sure, Alaba, I need to even tell 2 testimonies from my network with her. So she worked with my sister, and that's how we met. I went to her church. She invited me to her church to come and talk to the young people there. And that's how I went to her church. And then after I finished talking, someone came to me and said, "You know what? I work in a magazine. I would like to do a feature on you and what you're doing." At that point, I'd never heard of that magazine before. And behold, I then when they called me and told me the name of the magazine, I went and Googled them. They're called Tech Points. That's when I realized that they were actually very quite they are growing in the tech ecosystem. You know what's so
System, yeah.
important? I'm telling you, and then I now went and they did a feature on me. And that feature on me went wild. I had so many of my ex-colleagues calling me and saying, "Oh, Titi, well done, Titi, well done." I was like, wow, new respect for that magazine. That's what. I now went to another event, and then people are telling me, "Oh, how they're really trying to look for someone that would connect them so that they can feature in one magazine." And I asked them, "What's the name of that man?" Behold, it was this same Tech Point. And I said, "You know what? I still have the girl's number. Let me send you the number." And all this came from me attending a church event that someone invited me to come and speak. From that event, apart from the feature in the magazine, I met 2 other school owners. From Alaba's event, she connected me with 2 other churches in our area that we went and did some of our Bible games there, who have gone on to Can you just see the opportunities? It all started from a place of connecting and giving. From a place of connecting and giving. When it comes to your network, it's really, really about starting out with, give. Don't start to collect. Just if you make up your mind, for everybody listening to us, make up your mind, start to cultivate your network. I tell you, do 3 months of giving. You will see that it will come back, pressed down, shaking together, running over.
I'm running over. Amen, somebody.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oh yeah. So good to hear you joining us. Today I'd hope I'll be able to show my face, but behold, it was not to be.
Thank you so much. And so many things like where I am right now. Like yesterday, I had a training, and I trained about. I had 2 sets of training. I trained. The first set was 490 people that I trained, and then the other one was 500 people. So pretty much, I almost trained 1,000. I trained that's 990 people yesterday, and I noticed something that getting into the training room and all that, and I started and all that, introducing myself and all that. I found out that there are people that knew me in the room, and I mentioned the Good Morning Education show. I did this, I did that. And there's another person that also came up to me and that told me that, oh, he's met me before in person. Talking about how your network can actually spread like wildfire. And listening to what you're saying and listening to all that, that you've been able to reel out as points, it's very important for people to understand how, we said that your network is your net worth. We've talked about how you must dedicate to give and make sure you're giving. But I want us to address another important element, which is that how can we get to educate people more about ourselves? More about ourselves, because a lot of people don't have a structured way of communicating who they are, right? And that's another issue that we need to trash and solve. Because if you can't communicate who you are, then it's a big mess you're getting into as a person, and how do we ensure that we keep that? Normally I tell people there is a share of your network's mind that you must have, and you constantly must seek to grow that share. We call it the mind share. Right? So how do we get people to get into that? I want to learn from that. I want you to also help every other person out there to learn from that.
Okay. Thank you, Rosemary. I think the practical thing always starts. Who are you? So, ask yourself that question right now. Who are you? What are you known for? Remember, I said that you have to first of all start from you. You have to find your own value. What value do you give? What are you good at? And don't let it be driven by where you work. Don't let where you work define you. No. So you are a teacher. No, that's fine. That's where you work. But who are you and what's the value that you have to give? So let's say, for instance, I'm a teacher in a school. I teach, nursery school. But who I am is that I'm a very good cook. Do you get? One of the values that I give is that when people come, that doesn't apply to me because I don't like cooking and all that. But I'm just giving this an example. But it also means, or so you're the kind of person that in the family, when they are planning things, when it comes to the food area, it's really about you. You know how to organize menus. You know how to, the best places to get deals. It's something that's valuable about you. Or maybe you're into fitness, so you know all the how many calories is in this, what you really need. That can be the value that you're bringing. So always think about your value beyond the job that you're doing now. Something that comes easily to you, something that comes natural to you, something that you're passionate about, something that you can do without even thinking about. So some people, that their value is that they're very good at planning and organizing. You know, if they are part of your committee, if that, you know that they will think of all the angles, they will have the worksheet, spreadsheet, read out responsibility, timelines, deadline, remind everybody. Once they're in your team, you know that this thing is just going to be a success. So they might be working as teachers, but they're very good at planning and organizing. So the first thing that you need to do is identify that value. Once you can identify that value, then you need to start letting people know and show that value. You know, I look at a lot of people's WhatsApp status and all that. They always, I tell someone you're a caterer, but when I look at your WhatsApp status, I never know. Because today you are showing picture of your daughter, tomorrow you are showing the one tweet that someone was, you put so many things on, but never really about your business. So what that means that if I check it day in, day out, I'm never reminded of what you do. So what stops you from, I'm not saying don't post those things, but I'm saying constantly remind me of what it is that you do. So you've done it, you're at an event and you're like, oh, you know what, this is us. Today we're excited about this event, we're the ones doing the catering. Or you show, the display of food you're about to send out on dispatch. Or do you understand? So you start to show that thing. It's the same thing when someone is into photography. You're a teacher, but you're into photography. So people begin to know you with that value that you will give. When we are, how when you go for this school event, there's always someone we want in the picture because the person knows how to do that selfie thing very well. Because you have to have something of value. I'm just using all these as very casual examples, just to let you know that you need to know what is the valuable thing you bring, and then use every opportunity that you have to always show that. So when you're in your school group, for instance, there's some people that are in the school group, when we're having those debates, the kind of intellectual thing that they do, people are always waiting for their opinion. Oh, I want to hear what this person will say. Some people are, your group jesters. They're just good at cracking jokes. So people begin to know you for certain things. It means that if we organize a school event, when they say who should be the MC, people will know the person to bring without even bringing an external person. The point I'm making, and I'm using this as all casual examples, is to say that you have something that is of value. You need to use every opportunity that you have, every platform that you have to project your value. Because it's easier that if you decide to leave that job and move to the place where you can give value, people already know you for that. It's like someone that we already know when we do all these our school events and we say people should bring food. There's some people that we know, this person makes the best nkwobi. So if she now tells us she's opening a nkwobi joint, of course, we're all going to patronize because we've already been tasting of this her value. They're just people that they like to travel. So when they're always recommending things and places, if you go to Ibadan, make sure you visit. You'll be amazed. Or the little things people appreciate. When you go to Ibadan, make sure you visit this Amala joint. When you go to this place, all those things are things of value. So you have your WhatsApp status, is what I tell people. You have your social media handle. You have your WhatsApp groups that you're in. Let people know you for something. If you're an entrepreneur, let them know what it is. When people are talking about this, putting out advice and tips on it, then everybody will always associate you with that thing. And when it's time, they would then call on you. So people must know what you do. Don't. The Bible says that why do you light up something and then go and hide it? So if that's what you are, you need to let it shine in every area. Your church is planning an event. Do you understand? Quickly volunteer. Even if they say, oh, they don't want to pay. It's okay, you know what? You don't have to pay for the initial service, but this is the cost of, the elements. Pay for the elements. That's why you find after a while, it's certain people they keep calling because those are people that in the past they had offered their services when nobody was really looking out for it. People then associate them with that thing. So when it's time for an event, they will think about you. I have a friend, she does event nanny. So you know how it is when we're doing certain things, she will offer to do it. So of course, when people now have events, they think about her. Oh, they need a nanny session for the little children. They will think about her. So everybody knows what she does. She talks about it. It's there. It's not hidden. So we all need. Yeah. Sorry, I was rambling on.
No. It's I was just responding. It was quite deep, Maybe you just say this and add to this. So some people have this fear, and sometimes it does happen, where now at the point of entry and working and introducing yourself, people now keep you in a mode or a fix. So you give, or you do rebates. And then people now want to get stuck with the eye of, you're giving, for example, like 3 months, or you're giving or helping people. People now just type of, how do you put it now? Just look at you and tend to fix you that, oh, you're that giver, oh, you're that cheaper option, or better still, your actions begin to train people, right, not to buy or not to value or not to place premium. Sometimes people sometimes do that. Oh, she will always do it for you free. She will always do it for you. How do you try to create an equilibrium or a balance to that?
Okay, I think the first thing I will say is that start with yourself. Also, not be a taker of free things. Do you understand? Make up your mind that if anybody gives me for free the first time, I will take only once. I won't take for free the second time. I don't know if you understand. So it means that if you, let's say, wrote to me, you're into snacks, and I say, oh, I want, and you give me for free the first time. The second time, when I say I want again, and you say you're going to give me for free, I will refuse to take it from you. I'll say, no, you're giving me for free the first time. This is your business. This is your livelihood. Me too. I want someone to be buying my services. So I always say start with yourself. So I also don't go about looking for free, because in the end, all these things are about value. So I will do free if you're my friend, if you want to give me once, and then I'm also, even if I collect discount from you, I'm aware at the back of my mind that I'm getting discounted. It's not an entitlement. So I think that's the first thing I would say, that one, start with you. Also, don't be a taker of free things. Realize that things have value and should be prepared to pay for them. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is that know that whatever it is that you do is valuable. And if people are really your friends, then they should know that. So don't be, I think some of us are shy to ask for the value. So say this is the value. When you give it out free, make up your mind also not to give things out free more than 1, 2 times. You say, oh, you know what? I did it free the last time, but this time I'm sorry, I can't do it free. You have to pay something for it. So make up your mind that even the things that you're doing, don't plan to do for the same person. That's me. I think of, if I give it to Rotimi for the first time free, the second time around I'm not going to give you for free. It has to be a completely different group of people. So I think it's important that we know that whatever it is that we're giving is valuable. We need to make up our minds that it's free once, discounted second time, third time is full value. Because if the person really finds it valuable, then the person should be ready. Because we all make money from what we do. How it is if you sell things. So make up your mind. I think that's the balance. Start from the beginning. And I found that works when you start from the beginning to say to yourself, it's not going to be free all the time. I will do free once. Second time is discount. Third time is full value. So start. I think that is that mindset of starting to say, you know what, first time if I'm to do something for you is free, the second time I do it for you is discount, the third time I do it for you is full value. The only time that you continue to balance discount and all that is if through that person you've gotten additional value. So let's say, for instance, I gave it to you free the first time, but since then you brought three, four, five paying people my way. Then I will give it to you discounted the other time, and I can continue to give it to you discounted third and fourth time, because that value that I've given to you, I've received the 3, 4, 5 fold. And that makes it different. The fact that I will give something to Rotimi discounted, because this discounted I give Rotimi will always pay me back with 5 other customers. Then, of course, then it makes sense. But not that this person, once discounted, never refers any other person to me. Never. No. It's not going to work. So I think
Value for value, value
yeah,
from
any
value,
person that
value
listening
to value.
now to say, you know what, when you start, you can give Free, but always make up your mind. Free once, free only once. Do you understand? Make up your mind. Free only once. Once the person comes back a second time, it means that there's value. Do you understand? So once someone is coming the second time, it means that there's value in it. So you tell the person discounted. I'm sorry. I make up my mind, free. That's my policy. It's free once. Free once. Once we do anything when we start, and you want something, free once. Once is something that I normally give for value. It's free once, depending. It's not free for everybody. But it's free once. The second time around, you want it free? No, I can give you discounted. The third time around, it means that you're seeing value in it. I give you a full price. Unless you've returned additional value to me, then I can continue to give you a discount. So that's my advice. Start with that mindset. Start with that mindset of free once. It doesn't even have to even be free once. So I'm just saying, if you want to make it free, it's free once. So even for things that I do for my church, as giving to God, I do it 1 or 2 times free. But after a while, no, they have to pay for something. So either they're paying you for the transport, either they're paying you for those allowance you will give your staff.
Sometimes it's these
Yeah.
things people don't really respect the fact that people actually have considered value. They think it's either because you are struggling or you're
No.
aspiring, you are emerging. A lot of times people belittle value, and value is value regardless of the category of stage the person is in. Some people just
Because
look at it and say, are you not a
yes,
young person? What do you want more? What do you want
as
money for?
long
How
as
can you
you're
charge
spending,
millions for this?
as long as
And
you're
it's
spending time on it, that's why there's some things I tell people. I tell the person, when the person, this is my strategy. When person's trying to price you like meat in the market, I tell the person, you know what? There are 2 options. I either do this thing for you free, or this is the money. I'm ready to walk away. I'm ready to go and sit down and lie down on my bed. Do you understand?
trust me,
There
and
just some things.
that's the truth.
So I'm ready to sit down and lie down. But the moment that I say that it's free, usually I'm more of a it's free once. But even it's not everything. It depends. The more time you're going to invest in it, the more then there's no free. Do you understand? Once it's taking, if I already have something, then it's easy to give free. But if it's something that I'm starting from the scratch to do, no, there's no free, because that's time. That's time
Yeah,
investment. But if I have
yeah,
something, I have it, it's already there, it's a template, it's a subscription, so it means that the time investment to replicate it is not much. Then it's fine.
yeah.
I can do it free. So let's put value to our time. Put
Yes.
value to
Value
our
to
time.
our time,
Yeah.
value to access to
To our,
us.
I don't.
And I
Like,
really appreciate
yeah.
that.
Don't
That's a very powerful way to end the
don't
show.
take free as well. That's what I tell people as well. Don't also be a freeloader. Someone that's always taking. Make up your mind. I just feel that how the Bible, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. I'm a strong believer of that. So I want people to pay for my services. It means that me in turn, no, I have to be ready to pay for people's service. So if you do something for me and say, oh madam, no, don't worry, no problem. I will take it free the first time, but the second time I won't. I will pay. The second time I won't. So don't be a freeloader as well. That's what I would say. Do unto others as you want them. You want them to pay for your service. Go and pay for other people's service. Do you understand? You want people
Yeah.
to have a coaching thing you want to do, and you want people to pay. Go and be paying for other people's own. Don't look for go
Yes.
for
And it's not just because of do unto others, but you know that sometimes if in some cases, if you don't do that, you will still struggle in placing value on yourself. You must pay for things. See, they say when people pay, they pay attention, you know.
yeah.
And that's sometimes the reason why you don't want to part without value.
Yeah.
It becomes a bad culture to start with,
And,
you
and,
know.
and, and, and what people then happen that they were taking for granted and they were doing shakara, they didn't want to pay for it. They now go to meet someone that will give half of what they pay. They're now feeling bad. And if I had gone to this person, this person would have done it for me free. So that's why I say don't be a freeloader. Once you collect, make up your mind that once you see value in it, the first time it was given to you free, the second time, so people give you cake. Ah, it's your child's birthday. Ah, it's the Tofumi's birthday. She'll send your child a free cake. First year. Second year, she's sending a free cake. Don't find a way to get the person's account number and just send the person something. Don't give. I know that some people, by virtue of your position, people give you things, free and all that because they feel that you've given them value. That's fine. That's fine. That's understandable. But ensure that you've given value. Don't just be taking no. Don't be a taker.
Or you'll be taking. All right, we've had a great time today. Thank you for everyone who commented, who joined us, who liked our videos and all that. Please share the word, share the videos, tell someone to join the Good Morning Education Show, to subscribe. We're turning 5. It's the 5th of November, and we're turning 5 by Saturday. And it's such a great journey. We've been on this show for 5 months. Fantastic. And we've been building the network for 5 months. Titi, you're not screaming.
I'm trying not to scream.
All right. Don't worry. When I'm fully back, you see my ginger in action. So I'm always talking. And once my tongue begins to overlap, I just take it cool. All right. So
waking up early, so I can't believe it. Thank you, Alaba, especially for joining us today. Honestly, it's awesome to see you online. Honestly, I agree with a lot of your comments. To value to our time, when people they pay attention. I agree, and it's also important that you are a person of value. I like that. Always be a person of value. Always seek to be adding value to what you do. That's why it's important. You're always upgrading your skills. Always upgrading yourself so that the value you gave yesterday is not the same value you give today. You've upped your game. Okay.
All right. So at this point, we're drawing the curtains, and we would like to wish you all a great day. And we would not end the show without saying that regular sign off that we normally have. And we don't just say it, we believe it, we mean it, we wish it, we pray it, and I believe that it will happen. And so on the Good Morning Education Show, we end by saying, remember, it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. So have a great day.